Hey, thanks for joining us today for the In Wheel Time car show. And standing by is Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand. We're going to talk to him again. We'll also have our Jeep Trails feature, an inside look into the world of Jeeping, along with the stories making automotive news headlines this week. All that and more just ahead in this segment of the In Wheel Time show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars.
Hi, Mom.
And the computer genius that he is down there.
He's a computer genius, but he hasn't figured out to plug the power in. I got to plug the power in to keep the computer running. Otherwise, the computer reboots in the middle of the show.
I'm thinking that he's brought the little black cloud from his wallet loss from Neaterville all the way over here today.
Yeah, but it's still just over him, so I'm going to lean over this way so it doesn't get on me.
Exactly. Yeah, let that stink get on you.
All right, there we go. It looks like you got.
Yeah, but now I got to get Jim back.
Well, text him.
Oh my God, it's a comedy of errors over on that side of the table. So,
Mr. Perfect over here.
Listen, I am in every stinking way.
There he is. There he is.
I keep reminding myself of how perfect everything is in my world. Not. But at any rate,
but it's going perfect in the Jeep world.
It is going perfect in the Jeep world.
You know, they had accolades on the J.D. Powers initial quality survey as well. I thought they scored very, very well.
Yeah.
For the 2020 year model.
Yeah.
And you know, that says a lot about not just the engineers and the designers, but also says a lot about the production people as well. You know, they're taking their time to do it right.
Okay, are we ready now?
Yeah. Are you ready, Jim?
Is he there?
Yeah, he's there.
He's there, but I'm trying to figure out where the audio. We need audio.
Oh, my God. Well, you know, Jim, this is not our fault. It's all his. The guy there in the green shirt, he did this. And so we're just going to lay it on him. But at any rate, what'd you have for breakfast?
Well, Jeff brought kolaches. Very, very good.
Yeah.
And kolaches in Texas are different than kolaches are other parts of the world, because here it's about a sausage inside the pastry.
Yeah, and that's not it.
Other places it's a jelly or a piece of fruit inside of the
fruit
pastry.
filling, yes, like preserves or something. Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you, Jim. And it's yes. So if you
I can hear you guys.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, so now joining us from Jeep FCA, the head of the Jeep brand, Mr. Jim Morrison, and we thank you for sticking with us through all of this. Mr. Mars didn't plug in the computer, and it went dead. So there's that. But at any rate, we're not going to talk about that. We want to talk about, you know, we talked about the new Jeep Wrangler diesel, and now I want to kind of shift our attention a little bit, if you don't mind, and talk about the Jeep lifestyle. Because, Jim, you know, back in the 70s, I guess there was a Jeep lifestyle, but I think really in the 80s and 90s, things started snowballing with the Jeep Wrangler mainly, and the Jeep lifestyle. And I know that you've been to a lot of events, public events, Moab, all of that sort of stuff, and you've had a chance to dive into the Jeep culture, and maybe you can do a better job at explaining it than me.
Well, you know, the Jeep community is like no other automotive community. And, you know, if you think about it, what other group of people, you know, really honor and salute each other kind of with a wave, you know, and then do stuff together and just have the sense of community that you get with being part of the Jeep family. Of course, that feeling is part of everything from whether you're driving a Renegade or a Compass or a Cherokee or a Grand Cherokee. But it is really highlighted with the Wrangler and now the Gladiator folks, kind of all around and in and around the off-road community. The wave, interestingly enough, it goes back to our military roots, and you know it's a little bit of a tale, but the idea of the U.S. military folks waving at each other so that they know that they are actually U.S. military driving the U.S. Jeep.
Friendlies.
And friendlies, so they don't realize that somebody else has ripped off the Jeep, and it's a nice subtle way that they kind of kept that quiet, and that's kind of all the way through the community here today. And whether you're off-roading in your Wrangler or whether you're taking it to the grocery store, with with 3 or 4 kids in the car. It's just something that's still part of the culture. And I have to say, it just makes you feel good. When you have somebody wave at you and just kind of recognize that you're part of the family. It is kind of cool. But it's kind of started with its military roots and now kind of boiled through its 4x4 culture. And it's something that nobody else has had. I mean, other manufacturers have tried over the years, and we'll see how we continue to grow. But it's incredible how that culture has grown. And in fact, breaking a little bit of news here for you, but we just had our second best Wrangler month ever here last month. With sales, and it's just a real illustration of the number of people that are working to kind of get outdoors and be free, take the top off, take the doors off, and just enjoy being part of the extended family with Jeep. And that's really kind of fun.
And Jeep, let me ask you, Jim, with the Jeep Wrangler in particular, how is manufacturing these days with the COVID outbreak? I mean, this has been a huge divot in everybody's lives, and including all of the guys working on the assembly line, gals too. How have you been able to keep up with demand, or have you?
Well, it's the guys in manufacturing and girls in manufacturing. They're built right here in Toledo, an hour and a half away from the home of the brand here in Michigan. And I have to say thanks to them. They're going in. They're working today, to try to keep up with the demand we have for Wrangler and Gladiator. But the manufacturing folks have really done it in a responsible way, though. So there's spacing of the line. So we've given the individuals that are working on the line more space. They actually have orange and yellow dividers between the people, and of course they have masks and glasses, and sometimes the shields, depending on what works best for the employee. But we've got a lot of spacing and all of the social distancing practices in place. We actually can measure the temperatures of the individuals as they come into the plant to make sure everybody's staying safe, and it's working pretty good so far. So need to say thanks for them working hard, getting into the plants every day and keeping the Wranglers rolling out the door.
And how about
You know,
your suppliers, Jim? I mean, because let's face it,
Components.
today's manufacturers are really assemblers for the most part, and you've got to depend on your suppliers to supply you with dashboards and wheels and interiors and that sort of stuff. And I know that has been a concern as well. How's all that going?
I have to say thank you to our suppliers too, because they're working to keep up with our plants, and we're really actually over delivering from both the supply base and the manufacturing side. So far it's been very well orchestrated, with our supply base team, and very well orchestrated from our manufacturing team. So it's a very safe environment and everything that we're dealing with here today, and it's working well.
You know, I can't even imagine what it would be like trying to adapt the manufacturing plant, just the plant itself,
For distancing.
and to go through all of this stuff. You have got to coordinate all of this with your suppliers. Not only they have to comply with whatever the state is that they're in, but then you have to bring all of that together in the actual assembly plant itself. I can't even imagine the nightmare that your management team
And-
must have had to go through to get everything in place to be able to continue
And
manufacturing.
the investment it took to do that for the safety of your employees.
You're absolutely right on all accounts. And one of the things that it's kind of a very Jeep way of doing things too. If you think about it, I mean, we haven't slept. It's been 80-hour, 100-hour weeks. To make sure that everybody's working. The brand team has been working very hard. We're all working from home, but still, it's incredible the amount of man hours we've been putting in to make sure that the product is the right place at the right time, and coordinating all the efforts with manufacturing, who did an unbelievable job getting up to speed and getting the Jeep plants rolling again.
And how's your day's supply, considering you just talked about a near record month? How's the inventory at the dealerships holding out for you?
Not too bad, and it's because they've been rolling out. It's obviously the lowest it's been in a long time, but they're turning fast and sometimes selling right off the truck as they get there. So the spring season is a great time for people to buy Wranglers, and I think today with the added draw to being free. Obviously it's the American icon, and coming up here to the 4th of July. Just take a look at Jeep.com for a second. This seems like a shameless marketing plug, but click on the Wrangler page and look at the American flags. It is just perfect. And back to what I said before about your question about the culture. There's more American flags hanging off of Wranglers than you can ever imagine on any other vehicle. It's just people feel good about being in a Jeep and feel good about America, and they want to win. And they want to feel free, and you can do that in a Wrangler like nobody else's vehicles out there.
And you talk about the iconic name of Jeep, and with that, somebody mentions a part of the country like Moab or Rubicon. First thing that comes to everybody's mind is Jeep, because that's what it's about.
Yes, that's probably the biggest thing that we've missed. As this thing was rolling up, we ended up having to cancel. The Easter Jeep Safari in Moab was canceled, and that's generally 20,000 Jeep enthusiasts kind of getting together.
Just a few,
so we'll see how that goes. We're having a little bit of fun with the concepts. We're going to roll the Jeep concepts out, here over the next little while, and try to bring some of that back, into play. But all based on the Jeep community and culture. But
anything you want to share with us on
places?
Anything you want to share with us on those concepts today on the show?
Well, I've got that's a great question, and I don't want to get fired, but I can tell you that one of the things that has been consistent with Jeep and is that we listen to our customers. And a couple of things they asked us to do is they've asked us to do a Jeep pickup truck. Well, that's done. We got the Gladiator on the road. They asked us to put diesel in Wrangler. Well, you guys talked nicely about that. Thanks for your kind words about that. With what we've done, they asked us to bring Grand Wagoneer back into the marketplace, and that's going to be introduced here later this year. And and they've asked us one more thing, and you've heard me say it before. So it's about putting engines and things, and so we'll
figure that out
with that one.
Yeah. Well,
thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Jim, and we're pulling for you all the way. And you're going to have to be careful with old Don Armstrong. You know how that lead foot works.
You were talking about your customer, listening to your customers and stuff. It's not all about the guys in the Jeeps either. There's you got a really big female audience out there that drive the Jeeps. You mentioned, in your family, but even out on the street. I was going to tell you the Jeep Wave, years ago, whenever I started getting the chance to review the Jeep vehicles, going down the street, and I would see the Wave from these ladies driving these Jeeps. And I thought, yeah, I'm cool again, I'm cool again. And then I find out it's the Jeep Wave. It didn't have nothing to do with me. It was
your wife wondering why all the hotties are.
And I was kind of, hey, this is pretty cool. And then I find out it's the vehicle, not me.
Jim, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it in your busy schedule and all. Best of luck to everybody at Jeep and the FCA brand, and we appreciate everything that you do.
Hey, great talking to you, and take care and be safe and keep driving Jeeps.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk again, man.
We'll talk again soon. Thanks. Jim Morrison, the head of the Jeep brand. Time now for Jeep Trails and Wheel Time's weekly look into the world of Jeeping, and Mr. Mars traditionally has that.
So while we're talking about the Jeep lifestyle, I thought it would be a good time to remind everyone, if you go to Jeep.com, there's actually a tab on there that you can tab that says the Jeep lifestyle. And what it does, it brings you into the area where it's got a lot of ideas. You can work with Jeep. You can customize your Jeep vehicle. They've got the community setting so that you can interact with other Jeep people and find out what they've got going on. There's a lot of videos. We were talking about the Rubicon and places like that. There's some videos up there of things like that to go on. There's places to see about some of the things they've done and partnered with as far as sporting events and things go. But really where it gets into is you get into the section called Join Our Journeys. And this is where people have provided Jeep with their videos, their experiences, the things that they've gone and done in their Jeep with the Jeep community people as part of the Jeep lifestyle. And it's really a good entry level and maybe give you some ideas if you've already doing some of these things to go and do some of the other things and how to customize your Jeep. All the things that the Jeep lifestyle is about. This is a great place to get a good indoctrination to it if you're not familiar with it.
All right. Thank you, sir. This week in automotive history and inside the mystery garage. Coming up next on the In Wheel Time Car Show. As soon as I press the right buttons.
Yeah, you're perfect.
In every way.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's your all things automotive weekly car talk show. In Wheel Time, a reminder that we are live on YouTube and Facebook each and every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central. And we thank you for riding with us today. Going to do something a little bit different. We usually have the mystery garage and what's back there. Well, we've got something very special, I think, for you. We've been talking about Jeeps, but there are other brands out there. And so I thought today, because I don't know whether you know it or not, but on Thursday evening, the Ford Motor Company introduced the all-new, completely redesigned F-150, and we're going to show it to you. Every panel of the exterior has been redesigned. There it is, and including an updated headlamp design, new hood, wraparound bumpers, higher front fenders, a tucked-in midsection, and larger diameter tires, pulled out 3/4 of an inch. There are 11 grille options available across the series lineup, all differentiated in their own design. Upgrades include available LED headlamps, tail lamps, available full-length extended power running boards with kick switch that provide better truck-side cargo box accessibility. New active grille shutters, new automatically deploying active air dam, new cab and tailgate geometry all work together to reduce drag and improve fuel consumption. And then there's the interior that you see here, the interior completely redesigned. And I want you to look at the size of that screen in the center stack. Wow, it's big. And now, as opposed to the Tesla way of doing it,
which is vertically,
they've gone horizontal.
Landscape.
Yeah, landscape. There you go. Featuring enhanced materials on the interior, new color choices, more storage. Every surface has been redesigned, such as more soil-resistant two-tone seats for the XL or the new standard dual glove box. Now, the F-150 now introduces that all-new 12-inch center screen, standard on XLT High Series and above. That allows customers to split the screen and control multiple functions simultaneously, including navigation, music, or the truck features. And that's a separate thing. You'll have to venture out and look at it yourself. 8-inch touchscreen, standard on XL and XLT. An available new 12-inch digital gauge cluster as well. Features large information on demand area along with truck-specific graphics and animations that respond to the all-new F-150 selectable drive modes and can display off-roading data and turn-by-turn navigation. Knowing many customers prefer a console shifter, Ford has created a stowable shifter for the F-150, which easily folds down into the console when you don't need it. And with the push of a button, it comes back up and to access the large work surface when in park.
Okay, I can.
Can you see? Yeah, it is very cool.
Adding technology to the car.
Yeah. So I wanted to also mention that it's got max recline seats that fold flat to nearly 180 degrees with the bottom cushion rising to meet the back cushion and the upper back support rotating forward up to 10 degrees for max comfort.
Okay.
Available, lockable, fold flat rear storage area, which you see there, adds a vault to the F-150 that extends the width of the rear seats. Now, every F-150 comes standard with new cleats mounted to the sides of the tailgate to act as tie-down locations for extra long items in the bed.
That's pretty smart.
New clamp pockets are built into the tailgate of every truck so customers can hold materials down that way as well.
You know, you look at how many manufacturers are doing all of this tailgate technology now, and the new cleats is part of it.
Yeah. Well, so there it is. I mean, there's lots more pictures. You can go to Ford.com and look at all that stuff. But that's what's inside the mystery garage. Hey, if you're a member of a car, truck, or Jeep club, we'd like to put your bunch in our car club spotlight. All you have to do is shoot us an email with the contact information to info@inwheeltime.com. Okay, this week in auto history, Conrad's got that.
Well, in 1900, Oliver Lippincott became the first motorist to drive down into Yosemite National Park. And if you've ever been to Yosemite National Park, it's difficult to get down in there. What a beautiful place where Muir did all of the photographs and stuff.
All I can think of is Yosemite Sam.
Well, okay. You've never been to Yosemite?
I'm not.
It is a bucket list place to go
It'd
visit.
be a good place to go in a Jeep.
Absolutely. It's stunningly beautiful. And then in 1902 on this day, the German automaker registered the name Mercedes as a brand name.
I didn't know that.
In 1909, the Mercedes brand introduced the three-pointed star as their symbol. So Mercedes was there for 7 years before the Mercedes three-pointed star was part of it. After 2 years of stock acquisition, Walter Chrysler incorporated the Chrysler Corporation in Delaware, Michigan. You know why so many corporations are incorporated in Delaware? For tax reasons.
Right.
Huge tax reasons. So Ferdinand Porsche in 1934 contracted the first of 3 prototypes of the people's car, the Volkswagen Beetle. So it actually dates all the way back to 34 with the prototypes. In 1956, the last Packard, the classic American luxury car with the slogan, "Ask the man who owns one," rolled off the assembly line in Detroit, Michigan in 1956. In 1985, after 59 years, the iconic Route 66 entered the realm of history.
Route 66.
I'm a Yankee. It's Route 66.
Route. Oh, my God.
But the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials decertified Route 66 as a national highway, and they removed all the signs from it. But I think before the highway department removed them, everybody else did as well.
Exactly. And you know, I think that route, if you will, route is probably more well known today than it was back then.
Yeah, and it stretched from Chicago through a whole bunch. I think it was 8 or 9 states,
all the way down to Texas.
All the way to, it went through Texas Panhandle up in Amarillo.
Yeah.
All the way to Santa Monica, California, and part of that, as it goes into Santa Monica, was I-10 as it goes right out to the Santa Monica Pier. But I was in Oklahoma at the time, and quite a few of my friends had collected some of the Route 66 signs that were out there on the highway.
Thank you, sir. We're going to take a look at some of the stories making automotive news headlines coming up next. And I've apparently done it again.
You're consistent, if nothing else.
Well, there is that. Let's try this again. I didn't tell you, but we're doing musical interludes now. What do you think? You like them?
Interludes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I can't spell that. I'm not real sure I want to chase that.
INT. Never mind. All right, so let's do some news headlines before I screw it up even more. Mars brought all this with him today after he lost his wallet yesterday, and it continues to go downhill. But hey, it's part of a live broadcast presentation. How's that? All right, some of the stories making auto news headlines. Toyota recalling 267,000 vehicles here in the U.S. because of a faulty hybrid system that may not enter a fail-safe driving mode.
Eeks.
The recall involves the 2013 to 15 Prius vehicles and the 2014 to 17 Prius V vehicles. According to a Wednesday press release from Toyota, if a vehicle does not enter fail-safe driving mode, it could lose power and stall, which could increase the risk of a crash at high speeds.
Ouch.
That would not be good. Toyota said it will notify owners by late August. You know, we're not even into July yet, and they're going to wait for 2 months to tell me that I've got a potential problem with my car?
Well, yeah. Going back to my days when I was with General Motors, they would release a recall for whatever reason it was, and sometimes they would release the recall 2 or 3 months before the parts were available, because a lot of times the part has to be redesigned, manufactured, and people would come to get these parts put into the dealerships, and there was nothing they can do.
But sir, the problem is that this is a problem that could kill you. And, I think that I would really like to know whether or not I should drive my Prius to work or not. I don't want to die on the way to work because of some fail-safe mode that it doesn't fail safe.
And I would imagine in the notification they're going to give customers information about how to override that if that fail-safe system doesn't work. But, the alternative is to bring it into the dealership and park it and have them give you a rent car. And that's happened on some recalls in the past as well.
Well, I think that's what I would do. I would insist that we have the recall today. Give me something to replace the car with, because I don't want to be driving the darn thing like that. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just me. Is it just me? Am I the one that's jacked up on that deal?
No, there's probably a lot of other folks that completely agree with you.
A lot of other areas you're jacked up, but not on that one.
U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on Wednesday it has opened 2 investigations into reports of headlight failures. That could be a problem.
Only at night.
On 392,000 Kia Sorento crossovers and steering issues in 781,000 General Motors vehicles. So it's the 2011 to 2013 Kia Sorento, and then it's also Chevy Equinoxes and GMC Terrains from 2010 to 2012.
With steering issues.
Yeah, the steering issues. The steering wheel becomes sticky. Now, I'm not talking about the actual wheel itself, but it's like, wait a minute, is somebody underneath the hood holding me from turning the car?
Right.
And if I remember correctly, that is an electronically assisted power steering system. It's not a hydraulic, so something in the electronics.
Short.
Yeah, it's a problem, but that's the bottom line. Okay, time to take a break. Into this segment, we're going to start hour number 2. Let me keep my fingers crossed that this is going to work this time. Now.
A crying baby is impossible to ignore, but a quiet baby can be easy to forget. Every year, dozens of children lose their lives because otherwise attentive adults forgot they were in the back seat. It only takes a moment for a car to heat up to dangerous levels, even on cooler days. So get in the habit of always looking in the back seat and use reminders to ensure baby is always with you. Where's baby? Look before you lock. Paid for by NHTSA.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so stay a minimum of 6 feet away from others and stay home if you can. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's hour number 2 of the All Things Automotive Car Talk Show in real time. Just ahead, we continue our show on Jeeps and the Jeep lifestyle. In our new car showroom is the Dodge Charger Scat Pack. We'll take you for a ride in that. And later, our Ram Tracks feature, along with the stories making automotive news headlines. That and more just ahead, and this segment of the In Wheel Time Car Show, along with Mike out of this world Mars down there, who's always in trouble. King Conrad along there. He is trouble. I'm Don Armstrong, and I defined the word trouble. Just saying.
At least you could find something. Mars couldn't find his wallet.
Yeah, and he was kicking it down the street last we saw.
Oh. I'm not saying nothing else. It's so bad.
I know. So we're going to continue our discussion with the Jeep lifestyle, because that's really what it is. So Mr. Mars is lined up for us. A couple of folks. One is Norma Jessup with the Jeep Four-Wheel Adventures, and Randy Sanderlin with the Skyline Jeep Club. How you guys doing?
Yay,
hey, doing great.
Now, these are Jeep people, as you can tell. Look, we've even got Jeeps behind us.
Great background.
And a great background with the city of Houston covered in dust today. So don't wash the Jeep today. Wait till the dust goes away. But Norma and Randy, it's great to see you guys. So let's start with Norma, ladies first, and talk about the Jeep Four-Wheel Adventures group. So tell me a little bit about it, and where can we find you? What do you guys do? It's all yours.
Well, we are, of course, local to Houston. We've started our group. We started our follow page first because we decided to go to Colorado, and Colorado was so vastly beautiful that we started sharing our photos. The best way to share those photos was to start a page, so people could follow us. Also to allow people to share their adventures, to Colorado or Moab or wherever it is that they may want to go. So we started that. I think became very popular. Then I don't know, I just decided to start a group. So I started the group, Jeep Full Adventures. It's also called Jeep Full Adventures. We've got a follow page and a group. We have a monthly meetup here at Paper Co. Downtown Houston at 1100 Elder Street monthly. It's the fourth Saturday of every month. Because of the unfortunate situations that we're going through right now with our country, today's event was canceled because, out of respect for the people that are losing their jobs, the people's families that are sick. It's just something we don't want to promote,
Sure.
Understood. Completely understand.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're listening. Go ahead. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. So, we're here. I'm here with Randy Sanderlin and Skyline Jeep Club, and this particular event is for Mitch and I went through the trouble. Actually, it was no trouble, but it was trouble. 3 months into finding the perfect spot where we can actually fit a numerous amount of Jeeps and have a Jeep meetup monthly that everybody would appreciate it. Well, we had no idea that this place was going to become so popular because of the downtown background,
Yeah.
So people love to take pictures with their Jeeps back here. We love to meet up here. Usually Paper Co. is open, so we have coffee and breakfast here. However, because of the current situation with our country, Paper Co. is indefinitely closed. So anyway, so
we just sit out here and meet up and sweat
and talk.
Yeah. Today's a good day for that.
Yeah, exactly. With all the humidity and all of the the dust that's in the air, it's a perfect day. So when you get home this evening, you can put the Jeep in the garage after you wash it. But so do you guys meet up and actually go to the beach, go to Moab? Do you actually get involved in a Jeep lifestyle as far as getting your Jeep dirty?
every chance we get. But there's different levels. Some people, don't mind going out and getting a local mud park and getting their dirt Jeep muddy. Some people don't like that. Some people want to go to a rock crawling park, and some people just want to go to some nice trails up in Moab. And then we have a lot of beach people. There's another Jeep club locally, Jeeps at the Beach, Texas, and they have a huge following, and they have events at the beach all the time. A lot of benefits for other good causes too.
Yeah. Well,
I think we were on one time when we talked about the old Highway 87 run that we
yes.
do.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we do all kinds of things. Usually when Mitch and I go to Colorado, it's our vacation. So we say, hey, we're going if y'all like to join us. We don't get any takers, but because it's a long trip, it's an expensive trip, and
it takes a lot of time to get up there and get back and spend some time up there, like you said.
Exactly, and it has to be perfect timing for everyone. If you want to know the truth, we go every year at a particular time. This year we won't be going just because of the current situation, but and we're going to miss it. So I'm looking at as many pictures as I can, joining Colorado Jeep Club group so I can see what's going on up there.
So, Norma, I have to ask you, for those that are thinking about getting into the whole Jeep Wrangler thing, the whole lifestyle to own one, I've got a friend of mine that doesn't even take the top off of hers. I've been encouraging her. How would you get somebody involved in the Jeep lifestyle? Because you got to start somewhere. And so how does that happen? I mean, do you call you guys to reach you on Facebook? How does that happen?
Well, I'll be real honest. When I meet people, a lot of just going to the grocery store and them seeing my Jeep, they ask me about it, and I tell them that it's the best thing that ever happened to me. It's literally changed my life.
But the best way to really get into the lifestyle is join the meetup groups.
Right.
There's several all over town, depending on what part of town you're living in. Join the groups, go out, see the different kind of Jeeps, see the different kind of people. We make lifelong friends. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and I love seeing when I get to introduce people, and then I see them a year or two later, and they're still friends, and they're still hanging out besides the meetups. So it's a great lifestyle. It's a great bunch of friends. There's always something to do in some way or another.
And you get to watch your friends' Jeep evolve over a period of time as they do the modifications to it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, some of that turns into jealousy a little bit, but we still watch.
Yeah.
1 ton versus 40.
Right, exactly. I can only imagine. I mean, I always revert back to the days that I was in a car club, and it's so much fun, and met lifelong friends that are still friends of mine today, 35 years later, and we're still in touch. And so it is a lifestyle. And, I think that people can be a little leery about joining a club. Well, I don't have a lot of time to devote to a club. Well, you can devote as much time as you want. You don't have to sign up for the monthly meetings. If you can't go one month, it's no big deal. Hey, I'm not coming this month because whatever. Or if you're not feeling well, you don't show up. Okay, that's fine. It's not one of those kind of mandatory things,
right?
That like paying club dues or something like that. It's not.
It's
that
supposed
way.
to be fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
It's the freedom that you feel when you get in your Jeep. I don't know that I've ever gotten into my Jeep without, after getting in, a big smile just comes over me. You don't have to join a club. You don't. If you get a Jeep, you feel it. You feel the freedom. I would never have imagined myself going to Colorado, ever. It happened after I got my Jeep.
Yeah. So I guess the question is it okay for somebody that has a Jeep that they're really not sure about joining a club, but they would like to give it a shot and see what it's all about? You don't have to join the club or the group to go on.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? You found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.